So this week, the topic is leadership. Again, this QR code is just for the folks that are in person. So if you're online, your attendance is automatically tracked when you joined the session. So as usual, I'll do a quick introduction to our guest, and then we'll get started. Sorry, let me just rearrange my windows quick. There we go. So our guest speaker today, speaking on the topic of leadership, is Kamal Sohn, who is an experienced professional with 17 plus years of IT industry experience in insurance, retail, fintech, and various roles, including senior management. Kamal is a communication and leadership expert, a distinguished Toastmaster, and has served in various leadership roles. And he's also a project management and process improvement professional at his core. Lastly, Kamal is also a certified professional in life and leadership coaching, and he's here today to talk to us about leadership. So after this short introduction, I will turn over to Kamal to take it away. Thank you, Kamal.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mika. First of all, happy Friday to you and rest of the folks here on this call. Much appreciate the introduction and also the opportunity to present today as part of this wonderful session today. My warm regards to all the students out there listening to this presentation here. So let me go ahead and get started by sharing my screen here quickly. Oh, looks like I have to join via the Teams to share my screen here. Just a second, let me actually see if I can join via that. It's right now asking me to go through the browser, so just a minute here. My apologies for the technical challenge. Let me just drop and quickly join here. Sorry, once again, I don't know why, but let's hope, I can share using the same thing here. Okay. Let me know once you can see the screen and we'll get started. How about now?
Yep, I see your screen. Looks good.
All right, great. But once again, thank you for joining this session. I appreciate your time and also Mr. Miko for the opportunity to present as part of this session here. The main goal of this presentation is to, help you understand why leadership is important. What does this presentation help you going down the line in your career, and how does this empower you to understand what is your style of leadership and how you can improve in your areas where you see that you see the chances of improvement, as well as feel confident about the areas that you're already strong in. So this presentation will help you understand your style of leadership, areas that you're already strong in, areas that you can improve upon, and then finally few case studies to help you think about real world scenarios where leadership judgment is very much important. And we'll pick a couple of volunteers as we go through each of these activities, and we all will have opportunity to speak about. Okay, so get ready and get excited to be part of this presentation. So as Mr. Mika introduced me, I started my journey in project management, then grew in it, and lately last couple of years I've been into life and leadership coaching with IT professionals and leaders. So very exciting and interesting journey, I can tell you that. So quick rules here. As always I say, you can turn on your camera because it's an interactive session. If in case you're online, I know if you're in class you cannot. Then again, feel free to, I don't think I can see chat. If I can, yeah, I can see the chat. All right. And then we'll have a Q&A session at the end of the presentation. So you feel free to drop in now. We can take it as we go forward, or at the end of the presentation is fine too. Here is a quick agenda. As I said, we'll have a quick word cloud in the Slido. I'll pull that up quickly here. And then We'll do something known as disc analysis. If in case you've already heard about disc analysis, put it in the chat that you did. If not, that's fine too. You'll learn about it today. Then we'll go through the wheel of leadership assessment. It's more, and an activity for you to understand where you stand in leadership perspective. As I said, we'll have case studies and then, Q&A in the end. All right, to get all of us started here, either you can scan the QR code here or go to Slido and put that code and help all of us understand, according to you, in one word, what does leadership stand for you? What's that one quality for you see in a leader that you either, mingle with or someone you envision with, that one quality you think stands out for you as a leadership trait? I have the word cloud here. So, it is active and it is running. So let me know once you get started and I'll pull up the word cloud here. Yeah, I see the first word coming up here. So here you go. I hope you can see the word cloud too. I see responsibility, which is really correct. Oh, I can do this present actually. I'll let it be. Leader brings out the best in you. Yep. The empowering kind of a leadership, self-awareness, the emotional intelligence kind, responsibility, more delivery kind of a leadership. So we have 3 votes so far. Mika, have you put your one word?
I have.
For leader. All right. Do we know how many in total we have as part of this session? Like 24, I see online, 23.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. Okay. If we are good here, so 4 words that stand out is vision, responsibility, self-awareness, and leader who brings out the most from you. I think these all words are different traits of leadership, and I'm sure as we go down the presentation, you'll understand that each of these qualities are so important in every type of leadership trait that you see down the line. All right, I'm mentoring one. I see a few more coming in here. Okay, we will move on to the next portion here. So as you see here, it's not a one kind of a simple trait for someone to be defined as a leader. There are multiple components of leadership and multiple styles of leadership, and whatever works for you, you will stand out as a shining light through your style of leadership. But you'll also take a journey towards understanding others who are out there as leaders, trying to get aligned with them through their leadership style and make the work you are supposed to get it done through the initiatives or the activities that you're supposed to do. Let's just say, for example, you have a project management capstone project you need to complete. For example, you have a group of people and each of them have their own leadership style. Now, let's just say once you complete this presentation and you all will understand your leadership style, talk to them and ask like, hey, what is your leadership style? And how can we align towards, talking in that leadership style language to get much closer? You can use all these activities with your friends and understand what they think leadership is all about. Make it more fun. All right. As I was talking about disk analysis here, we'll understand what disk stands for in a couple of slides down the line. But before I spill the beans and tell you all the script about the fun that is associated with this activity, how about you all, whether you have a piece of pen and paper or Word doc in front of you, put 1 to 24 on that particular, whatever scrap book, paper, or doc you have. Put 1 to 24 numbers in that particular gadget or anything you're using, and then I'll explain what next to be done. I'll give you a minute to do so. And Mika, I encourage you to also be part of this activity so that you can understand your leadership style too. All right. So once you have put 1 to 24, I'll give you an example of what to do here. So the first one says ABCD as restrained, forceful, careful, and expressive. Now, when I read this particular line, it always, for me, the word that stands out is expressive. I always like to express what I think, what I feel about, what I envision. So for you, there may be another word that stands out. So go through each of these 1 to 24 lines not to think much about, just pick a word that resonates with you and put that alphabet beside that particular number. So let's just say if you pick A, 1A. If you pick B, into 2B. So go through this. I'll give you the next 5 to 7 minutes. We'll figure that out. And then once you're done, kind of putting those alphabets, 24 alphabets, just put done in the chat. That way we know that you have completed this activity. All right. Oh, wish I had a background music. You don't need to put in the chat what do you say, the alphabets and the numbers. It is for you to assess on your paper, and it is your assessment to understand your leadership style. I saw someone put in the chat as 5A, so I'll mute myself here at this point. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. The goal is for you to understand the activity and do it successfully. Two more minutes, and then we'll move to the other side of the coin of this activity. Okay. I hope others can get done too. So we'll do 1 more minute and move on to the assessment side. All right, with interest of time, let's move on to the next portion here. So as you go through each of these lines, there must have been a word that resonated with you, and you have put that alphabet to that particular number, right? But you might have felt, what does this really mean for me all about? Like, what does this kind of resonate to, right? So in the next slide, we'll take a look at what does that mean. Now, what you will be doing is, let's just say if you have written 1B, draw a line or an arrow mark and put D. If you have done D, put I. The whole goal is for you to kind of calculate how many D's you got, how many I's you got, how many S and C you got, so that we understand what exactly is your leadership style. And we'll talk about it. We'll pick a volunteer and, request them to share their score, and we'll see where it goes. Okay. We'll take 2 to 3 minutes for this particular assessment, correction, and then, or grading, let's just say. So once again, just for those, if in case you're still waiting, just score accordingly what alphabet you have put for each of these numbers, what it corresponds to between D, I, S, C, and put your total, how many you have D's out of 24, how many I's, how many S, and how many C's. Okay. And once again, if you're done, just put done in the chat. That will help me kind of time the movement accordingly. And remember, everybody has a different number for each of the leadership styles. So don't be surprised if someone sitting beside you has high D's and you have high C's. So this is more of a number game for yourself rather than for anybody to be compared. Excellent. So I see that a couple of them have said done. So I'll give 1 more minute. I think we are on the right time here. We're moving along very well. So I'll give a couple of 1 more minute. We will see if few more can say done, and I think we should be on our way. Excellent. All right, I think most of you are done. So we'll move on to the next slide. Now, you've seen just the letters. What does DISC mean? But understanding what does each of these stand helps you realize that we are all made of different fabric. You have the score in front of you. Okay. Now, understand as I move forward to the next slide, what does that each mean to you? Like, where do you stand? Do you have high I's, C's, S, D's? Where do you stand? We'll move to the next one. Now, why is this analysis important? It is important because in the organizations where we work with numerous people, each of them are of different kind. I am of different kind, you are of different kind, but when we get into a project, we need to work together. So there will be challenges, there will be issues, there will be situations where one may agree or disagree with the other person. How does that kind of situation can be more easily resolved, or let's just say commonality can be reached, is by doing assessments like disk analysis or Gallup Strengths Finder or something like that. Disk analysis is used in organizations to help leverage the communication channels based on the style of leadership of people they are working with. As you go through this knowledge here on this slide, you'll realize that people are of different kind and how they can be used for, whether it's communication or stakeholder interaction or executive leadership decision making and so forth. D stands for dominance. Let's just say if you watch sports, you will see very active players on the court. For example, it is March Madness, so a lot of basketball action, right? So you'll see those enthusiastic players on the court running across the court very fast, showing those aggressive behavior, very straightforward approach to the celebratory actions or winning or any points they scored. So they're very direct, very demanding for their presence and very determined. These kind of people always are into what is the bottom line result I am delivering as part of the work I do. They're more focused on the bottom line numbers and situations, and how do I keep moving forward rather than stuck at one place. So D stands for dominance, direct, demanding, and determined. I stands for inspiring. These are more of kind of inspiring, motivational folks. You may have friends where they're always supportive to you. They are very, understanding of the situation, but they are always, making sure they deliver results. These value relationships a lot. The inspiring kind of people are very good at stakeholder management. They know when to switch the levers. They know how to maintain the relationship with people across the board, and are very, not passive uh, or aggressive. They are very balanced in approach. Dominance is more aggressive, inspiring is more balanced kind of people. S stands for supportive. These kind of people, let's just say you go to any event or any game or anything, they carry on their work in a very minimal manner. They don't show any sort of very aggressive nature, or they are not really passive in nature, that they are way back in, you go to a party and you find someone sitting in the corner having their sip of beer or something like that. These guys mingle, but they know where and whom to mingle. They are very steady in nature. They know their kind of people, they interact with them. But these kind of people are more like, until they know the people very well, they stick to their own guns sort of a perspective, but they're always there to help people out. So S stands for supportive, stable, or shy. And the last one is called cautious. These kind of people have their skills, have their traits, have their excellence, but they're opposite to D, which means where you see dominance, or let's just say very aggressive action in nature, C kind of people are like very excellent in their art, but they don't really showcase them in their behavior or in their manner. If I have to give an example in regards to March Madness, you all may have known LeBron James, right? LeBron James is very passionate on the court. He's always out there, thumping his chest or something like that. He's more kind of a deep personality. On the other hand, you must have heard Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry is more like the C kind. He knows his skill, he knows his art, but he doesn't showcase it well. He breaks all sorts of records, but he's out there doing his art more and more better, rather than, pumping chest or something like that. So leaders are a different kind. They are making their teams win, but everybody has their own style of leadership. So now at this point, I would like to call upon a volunteer, whomever, Mika, you want to decide, or anybody, I don't know the process, so you can decide on whom you want to call upon. You can tell us your score, and we can see where you stand in the spectrum. All right, someone pasted in the chat here. Sheng Yun Yu, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. She said 7A. What is A? Oh, I think she got this wrong actually. So I probably believe you've calculated A's, B's, and C's. So what you'd have done is, let's just say in the first question, if you put A, B, C, D, whatever you put, you should calculate DISC. So probably what I would suggest, Miss Yu, is if you can use this grid again to rescore your, numbers out there. All right. Any other volunteer who has done the DISC assessment calculation? Or make it yourself if in case you have done.
Yeah, I'm hoping that one of, sorry, 1 second.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that one of the folks who mentioned that they were done can put their disc scores in the chat. Otherwise, I'm happy to share mine.
Oh, absolutely. Like Delclar or Julian or Rona, Bhakti, all these people. Oh, now she said 7D, 7Cs, 5Is, and 5S. Okay. Very interesting spectrum, actually, because she's balanced on both sides of the coin. If you see, Miss Yu, you have a balance between dominance and being direct, and you have a balance between calculating and being careful, and you are actually 7755 24. Yep. So I have to explain this particular scenario that Miss Yu is sharing. So I did my first disc analysis in way back in 2016 when I was having a global team. we had different kind of spectrum of people. Like, for me, I have like 5, 7, which is 5 in dominance, 7 in inspiring, and then 6, 8 in supporting and cautious, somewhere like that. So my high score was in inspiring actually, because that can explain how I ended up in coaching field. But I had a team member who is exactly like Miss You here. He was balanced across the spectrum. These kind of people are very important to every team, you know, wherein the discussion can slide towards being over dominated or under the current of being, uh, dominated by the aggressive people. These kind of people who are balanced across the spectrum step in at the right time and salvage the moment to make sure that the team doesn't break apart. The team is, kind of going together, and then they pacify the situation accordingly. So the support of this balanced people, where I see the score as 7-5. So if I have to read in this way, 7-5-5-7, that's the way to read. You will make a very good team member, Miss You, as in how and when you choose to step in to provide your support to whether the D side or the C side. So you have the balanced qualities of a leader where you can be very uh, important in any team you work with. So very good qualities there. But that doesn't mean others who have different kind of leadership are not. That's your style of leadership. Um, Mr. I don't know, Miss or Mr. Delclar has 9 C's, 8 I's, and no D's. That is very. I'm seeing for the first time a professional with no D's. That is really good, actually. So you are actually, on the passionate side of inspiring people. You provide your support. For you, people are very important. You are passively aggressive rather than saying aggressive. You are cautious in your approach because you have very high C's. The only point I would suggest for you is to upbring the art of how to navigate your way when you come across people who are very high D, which means people who are very straightforward, very demanding. The reason why I say that is because the normal communication happens from our conscious level. But when we are put under pressure, we start to speak from our subconscious level. And so, with the personality having no D's, and someone from a D personality comes and challenges you, you might be under a little bit of pressure. So, managing a little bit of tasks of how to communicate to these high Ds. For example, high Ds, their go forward question is, when am I going to get the result to this particular task that I have assigned to you? The only way you would rephrase that sentence or question to them is, what is the timeline that you're looking for, or get more details from them so that you can actually plan accordingly and work towards them. That's what would be good for you to work towards, is managing those high Ds. But I think for people I, S, and C, you will be a very good team member to manage. Okay. All right. I think with the interest of time, we'll move forward. That was a really good segment to discuss a couple of volunteers there. Thanks for your participation. Now, your personality style, but as I said, every personality style is different. But what is common across all of us is the traits of leadership. Now, on this particular slide, you'll see something known as wheel of leadership. These are 6 most common areas that any leader can focus on. So what we'll be doing is, whether you have a piece of pen and paper or again a Word doc, draw a circle on it and write down the 6 words, whether you want to write all of them full verbiage or shortcut like EI, CI, whatever way you want to. As I explain this slide, do so. Now, what does vision and strategic thinking mean about in leadership? Any leader who is very good in, setting that road for themselves or the team they're working on is the leader that already knows the way to walk forward. This particular segment helps you understand that you are very planned leader and you know the way to go forward, not just for you, for your team also. Emotional intelligence stands for all about, balancing yourself. As I spoke about the pressure situation, you need to know when to reassess yourself, remanage yourself, and know how to self-act so that you don't lose the situation just because someone is putting you under the pressure. Communication and influence are very key to any leadership role. If you go and Google out there, the first topmost leadership trait that is required for any leader to stand out is communication. because it's not about what you want to say, it's about how you want to say that makes the difference, because your voice and tone can completely change the interpretation of the message you're trying to convey. Next is decision making and problem solving. Remember, I spoke about Miss Yu here, who has that balanced, personality here. Anybody and everybody, when you are working as a leader, or everybody's a born leader, we all face situations where we need to make decisions and solve problems. The fifth quality of leadership is adaptability and resilience. Adaptability is all about, how fast can you change. Let's just say, for example, yesterday I had a client who spoke to me last night, and we were talking about a situation where there was a demanding manager asking him to deliver something which was not even discussed about. What ended up supposed to be a first call in the morning ended up leading to a chain reaction for him to feel bad about rest of the day. Now, had the personality been adaptable and resilient, the chain reaction wouldn't have gone whole through the day, disturbing his day and ending up, talking to me. Adaptability and resilience is understanding when to stop a chain reaction, know how to pivot yourself from the bad experience to good experience, and transform your day to move forward so that you can stand confidently, communicate to that particular leader and say, this is what I know, but you don't need to be assertive or, change your way of communicating to them. Remember, each of the thread in this particular leadership makes a lot of difference in how you manage yourself. And finally, ethical leadership and integrity. If you know where you need to stand and how you need to work towards what you need to, then rest of them will fall in place. So given now that you understand what this stands for, go ahead and on your piece of paper, or whatever you have, go ahead and on a scale of 1 to 10, just a second, sorry. On a scale of 1 to 10, go ahead and score yourself. According to you, where do you stand in each of these spectrum? Or let's just say, the pizza slice or pie of the cake, whatever you want to call. On a scale of 1 to 10, what number would you give when you think about yourself from vision and strategy perspective, emotional intelligence perspective, and so forth? So we'll take a couple of minutes here, maybe a couple of 1 or 2 minutes. Score yourself. Again, not much heavy thinking here, very quick understanding of yours, and we'll move forward accordingly. And as always, if you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat. A reminder, just put 1 to 10 in each of these sections, and we will pick a volunteer. Once someone is done, put done in the chat, and that will give me the pulse of the situation. Students, who is done, so that we can pick that particular professional. All right, we can wait. Miss Yu, since you spoke just a while ago, let me see if there is any other volunteer. If not, I'll come back to you, okay? I appreciate your proactive participation here. That is very good. And just an FYI, you don't need to total the score here. The 8s and 9s stand for themselves. All right, anybody else who has done this? Or maybe I have to volunteer now here. Mika, you want to speak about yours, or you want to pick someone from your class? Anybody?
Maybe just 10 more seconds. Is there anyone who would like to share how they ranked themselves 1 to 10 on these elements?
And again, there is nothing wrong. There is nothing right here. Whatever score you may be, it is your true judgment of where you stand. So, uh, Rona, can you unmute and speak up? Is that something you can do? Or maybe you can put your score in the chat. I'll be happy to explain. All right.
Hi, good morning everyone.
Hey
So
there.
I got a total of 42.
Let's take one step back, Rona. Help me understand your score from each of the uh, slice of the pizza perspective. So let's just say, how much did you score yourself in vision and strategic thinking?
For EQ,
EQ.
for EQ I got 8.
Okay, you put 8 yourself.
For adaptability I got 10.
Oh, you put yourself 10. Okay. All right.
Um
How about
for
the others? Mm-hmm.
for ethical I put myself on 9.
Okay.
Um what else did here? Then for the decision and the problem solving I put myself on 7.
Okay.
For communication, I put myself on 10.
Okay.
And for
Communication and
vision,
influence. Mm-hmm.
yeah. And for vision, I put myself on 8.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. Let me explain what does this even mean. Okay. So let's say, for example, you have scored, and thank you very much, Rona, for participation. So when we say that we are on, anything 8 and above, what we are trying to say is we are comfortable in that particular spectrum of whatever we see here. So for example, Rona said that she's good in all the spectrums, except at this point, decision making is something that she wants to look into. What does that even mean? Is that in coaching, anything between 8 to 10, we call them the high scoring but low priority action items, which means for you, these areas come very naturally, you know. And again, this is an assessment at this point of your journey. Down the line, maybe the scores may change based on different scenarios and different situations you are facing. For current situation, Rona feels, her scores stand this way. So when I coach someone, I take up those areas where, which are between 6 to 8, which are medium in range, but, again, medium in action because they are not too low. Anything which is between 1 to 5, anybody out there who scored between 1 to 5, those are the areas which are in low score but need high action. So for example, let's just say someone out there scored 4 or 5 in any of these categories, then what you can do is you can ask yourself as to what is that is, kind of making you score that particular section accordingly. So how I color them is green, red, yellow, or green, yellow, red, just like our health indicators of a project. You will color them and then you will ask yourself as to what is that is causing your, let's just say, situationally making me think that the score is low. And then you would take next steps towards identifying the areas that is making you score them low and then working towards it. Again, this assessment is to make you realize where do you stand in each of the spectrums of the leadership and how do we move forward in improving those scores accordingly. Okay. All right. Any questions before we move forward? All right. If everybody's good, I'll just quickly wipe here and then move forward accordingly. All right, thanks again for the participation. So as we were talking about leadership style and leadership components, why is it important for us to understand and do those assessments? Is because everybody wants to work with a leader who knows which direction they're going, who know how to communicate and influence. When we say influence is to, motivate, mentor those people that they're working with, empower them with the work that needs to be done, and leading them by an example. Because in the end, we all want to work in a high performance team rather than a team where the motivation is low and everybody's just carrying it out for the sake of carrying, right? And finally, remember, every organization goes through changes every day or every month or every quarter. Whatever is the timeline, we all need to adapt to the situational leadership of the organization and also the situation of the team so that you can be successful in ever evolving rather than being stuck in the way the team and the organization is moving towards. Okay, I hope those two assessments helped you. What we'll do now is, I know the time is a little bit short here, but we will take quick 1 minute for each of these case studies. I'll give a quick overview. We'll pick a volunteer again to speak up how they would envision themselves as a leader in each of these scenarios and try to answer a couple of case studies here. So the first case study is I worked with a team where, cross-functionally we were managing about 8,000 people as part of my role in the organization. Now, if you can understand 8,000 people is a huge number, so you would have to think different culturally diverse people that you'd be working with. Now, the first question to you is like, let's just say if you are the leader in that situation, what strategies you would take to manage those culturally diverse teams? And given the time zones that we all work with, any couple of criteria that you would be thinking when you are communicating to them. Any volunteer out there who wants to take this question? This comes from your organizational behavior and theory aspect of leadership. Any volunteers? And again, no answer is right or wrong. It's your style of leadership. Okay, so feel free to speak up. All right. Let's move to the next case study then, if that's okay. I'll make it easy for them if this is something with a little bit challenging. All right. Next case study is about managing large scale operations. So before I move to the next case study, let me explain this particular one. So when you are managing culturally diverse teams, what you would be thinking about is the style of communication you want to think about is what makes them feel comfortable in more of a balanced approach, more of a tailored approach to their needs. Do you want to send specific communication to each geographical area? When I say each geographical area, is like for APAC, which is Asia Pacific, Australia and those countries out there. And then, India, Philippines, some other communication, EMEA, we call as Europe, Middle East, and Africa, and then North America. So it all depends on you want to send one global communication or different geographical location communications, because remember, each of them are in a different time zone. And also, do you want to schedule the communication all at once, or do you want to schedule them, let's just say, as they walk into the office in different time slots so that the communication is sent to them? This all comes down to how critical the communication is and how impactful the communication is to those people so that you time them accordingly and also make them much comfortable for them to understand from their cultural standpoint. So that's why this particular case study is important for you to understand. The next one is volunteering. I'm a huge proponent of volunteering in the organization. Wherever you go, I encourage you to volunteer because remember, you learn more than the normal work you do in your normal day-to-day activities. You will gain your leadership styles in a different way. Now let's just say you are in a situation where you work with a team and you have to volunteer. You are a leader volunteer. How would you empower them to work on the initiatives that they have to work on the volunteering side? Anybody out there who has done or is doing volunteering and does this already? Any students out there? All right. So how about you, Mika? Have you done any volunteering? And did you get an opportunity to motivate someone?
Yep, I see there's one comment in the chat, but I will also just add, I think
Okay.
motivating volunteers. Oh, let's go with the chat comments. Those are
Okay.
good.
They say give award and successful example. Identify the skills of volunteers to organize them in areas where they are best suited. Yep, that's absolutely true. So what I would say is first do what Maria said and then do what Miss Yu said, because it's all about empowering them of what they truly like. And and then now that you know disc analysis, you can do disc analysis with them, understand their style of working and what sort of a personality they are. And wherever the volunteering organization needs their work or help accordingly, you can align them. So thanks for your participation, Maria. Sorry, you please complete your thought, Mika.
No, I was actually I had the same comment as Maria, is identifying where strengths
Perfect.
are and what supports are. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. The third one is, let's just say you have to play a role of a coach, just like me, right? How would you manage, navigating through different people for decision making and work-life balance? So put yourself as a hat of a coach, being a leader, you're more in a coaching mode. What steps would you take towards making decision making and team management? And again, remember, no answer is right or wrong. I truly appreciate Maria and Miss You for stepping in. And again, any comments, thoughts, put in the chat. All right. How about you, Mr. Mika?
Um,
Brainstorming.
yeah. I'll just add on as well. I think one of the benefits of having a coach is that external accountability.
Sonali, you had a thought? Okay, I think that was more of a mic mispress there. But yeah, when you are playing the role of a coach, it's all about understanding from where the team member is coming. And as rightly Mika said, it's all about being an accountability partner to that particular professional, understanding their journey and making sure you take or guide them according to the situational awareness you have gained by chat, talking to them and helping them make better decisions and work-life balance accordingly. Because remember, we all walk from our side of the spectrum when we are working with others. But when you play a coach role, you're trying to understand their side of the spectrum to make a better, improved decision making and work-life balance for them to be successful down the road. All right. So that being said, why is it important to understand your leadership style or leadership traits or leadership in general? It's all about, working with vision, empathy, and integrity so that in the end, you can make a very good positive impact wherever you go. Remember, you have the power to do so because we are all born leaders. We work with a purpose, whether it is this course or anywhere you go outside. Your journey of leadership has already started. If you didn't realize, your journey starts now and you can make an impact as you go out there. So finally, I know we are on time here, but you can always email me if you have any questions or anything I can help you with. This is my contact, and again, you can also reach out to your instructor to help me reach. I appreciate the opportunity again, Mika and Reena, for giving me this opportunity, and I had a great pleasure talking to you all. All right, back to you.
Great. Thank you so much. I've never done the DISC assessment before, so I really enjoyed this. I love discussing how you self-awareness in terms of understanding how to communicate best with others. And I think all this was excellent. So thank you so much for coming and joining us today. It's an honor to be here and listen to you, but also to practice through these activities and the case studies as well. So thank you again so much. I see there is one question that, oh, never mind.
Okay.
We'll wrap up. But thank you, everyone else that's here today. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next Friday. And our next topic will actually be talking about navigating conflict. And so this will actually, I think a lot of this concepts and these skills today will apply next week as well. So we'll wrap up there. Feel free to reach out to Kamal or myself if you want to connect, and we will wrap up our class today. So thank you again. Have a good Friday. Yes.